step into the sacred realm as heavenly melodies illuminate your soul's journey. Selected 1. They are utterly amazed by you and curious about how you accomplished this amazing metamorphosis, which has them gazing at you as though you have revealed a cosmic secret they have been longing for. The magnetic confidence that emanates from you is so strong that it is physically distorting reality. The guy who used to worry about everything is now being watched by an unstoppable force of nature. The answer is more complicated than they ever thought, yet it's also simpler. But before we reach that realization, believe me, you'll know exactly why everyone is staring at you by the end of our time here. We must discuss how we got here, because what you're going through at the moment isn't a coincidence. It's the result of a well-planned metamorphosis that has been developing for longer than you may think. Do you recall the oppressive burden you formerly bore? That incessant worry about how things would turn out, how you would manage to do the seemingly impossible, and how you would ever find your purpose in this crazy world. Hasn't that weight been lifted? And it wasn't just relief that took its place. It was a knowing so deep it verges on the supernatural, a knowing that reveals truths about your genuine self, your true value, and your true fate. In your life, 3 distinct elements have been coming together, and you're only now starting to realize how they relate to one another. The first force is recognition, the abrupt insight that you have been doing well below your true level. Magnetic attraction, or the way opportunities and people are drawn to you like metal filings to a magnet, is the second factor. Divine timing, the cosmic choreography that has been setting you up for something amazing, is the third factor that connects everything. Since this is where everything started to change, let's start with recognition. There may have been a recent instance, or it may have developed over time, when you looked at something you believed would be impossible and discovered it was actually simple. It's truly, astonishingly easy, not just achievable or tolerable. This was about your mental calibration altering so drastically that things that once seemed like mountains suddenly seemed like molehills. Not about the external conditions changing. The problem is that you were recognized in more than one aspect of your life. You felt as though someone had given you new eyes, and all of a sudden you realized that you had been living under a huge underestimate your entire life. You were meant for more than you realized, and you weren't only more capable than you believed. Your significance to others, your role in this world, and your ability to bring about change and achieve achievement were all orders of magnitude greater than you could have ever imagined. Something primordial in your energy field was activated by this realization. It seems as though your aura suddenly regained its actual frequency and started to broadcast at a volume that is attention-grabbing. The second force, the magnetic pull that now follows you everywhere, starts there. You're getting different treatment from people. They are more eager to be with you and more interested in what you have to say. They seem truly inspired by your presence, listen to your ideas more intently, and laugh harder at your jokes. Some of them are even telling you things like how much they enjoy your energy, how your confidence allows them to be more genuine, and how being around you improves their self-esteem. Not everyone listening to you is doing it with good intentions. Others are researching your transformation, while others are sincerely applauding it and finding inspiration in it. They're keeping tabs on everything you do, making mental notes, and attempting to figure out how you succeeded. They're not pleased for you. Instead, they're attempting to duplicate your outcomes without putting in the same amount of personal effort. The universe is about to test your ability to discriminate between those who celebrate your growth and those who wish to harvest it, or between supporters and steady heirs, which is where your newly gained discernment becomes vital. When supporters witness your change, they believe that, if they can do it, maybe I can too. On the other hand, study participants ask themselves, how can I have what they have without becoming who they've become? The difference is more significant than you may think, since the next chapter of your tale calls for you to surround yourself with people who truly want you to succeed, rather than those who are trying to take advantage of your success. When you send $15, it may seem small, but like everything given in faith, it will be multiplied in heaven. You will feel as though destiny itself is calling your name, since the universe has been preparing you for an opportunity that is so in line with your gifts. However, fate chooses its companions carefully. The third element that has been directing every step of your journey is the divine timing. The universe was still preparing you for the responsibility that comes with your true potential, which is why some opportunities didn't present themselves earlier in your life. It wasn't because you weren't good enough, smart enough, or ready enough. Consider this. Would you have been able to manage it if you had gotten what is due to you now back, when you were still preoccupied with what other people thought, still settling for less than you deserved, and still playing small to appease others? Would you have been able to remain true to yourself under duress? Would you have been wise enough to choose the proper individuals for yourself? No is the response. The cosmos was aware of it. It therefore put you through a curriculum that was created to develop the precise spiritual muscles you would require for the future. You learned to be resilient from every setback. Every betrayal helped you develop your judgment. You learned self-reliance from every minute of standing by yourself. Every time you were undervalued, you learned to value yourself. You now recognize your value in a quiet, unwavering manner that is utterly captivating, not in a haughty or defensive manner. You've stopped apologizing for taking up space in the world, compromising your worth, and accepting less than you deserve. The change that everyone is observing is brought about by this change in your relationship with your own value. Your newfound self-assurance comes from finally aligning with a truth that was always there, beneath all the conditioning, fear, and desperate attempts to fit into spaces that were never meant for someone of your caliber. It is not the result of recent accomplishments or external validation. The mask you put on to please other people has been cast aside, and what's left is so powerfully authentic that it's changing the rules of how reality reacts to you. Nowadays, people are drawn to you because of how you make them feel about themselves, not just because of what you can do for them. Everyone's greatest potential is reflected back by your energy, which is transformed into a mirror. The forces begin to converge in the most exquisite way at this point. Your realization of your own value generated the magnetic pull that is bringing the right opportunities and people into your orbit. And divine timing has made sure that this convergence occurs precisely when you are resilient enough to face the next challenge. However, a fourth component is now becoming apparent, and it will bring everything together in a way that will leave you stunned. This component is legacy, the transformation you are bringing about in the lives of those around you. You have become a teacher without attempting to be one. You've become a leader without even trying. You have become an inspiration without attempting to be one. Your personal achievement is allowing others to follow their own path. Your true expression is allowing others to be themselves, and your personal healing is healing the collective. Everyone in your zone of influence is currently experiencing a transformation in their lives due to the same energy that changed yours. This is the point at which the cosmos makes its grand design clear. You are being groomed for service as well as for personal achievement. It's the kind of service that energizes you because it's so in line with who you are, not the kind that drains you. Although they will be monetarily gratifying, the opportunities that are going to offer themselves will be more than that. Even while they will be professionally rewarding, they won't be the only thing. These assignments will be soul level and will draw on all of your knowledge, skills, and transformations. The cosmic joke is that the things you believed would be the most challenging, living true to yourself, following your ambitions, and building the life you truly desire, turn out to be the most effortless things in the world. The problem was always in believing rather than doing. It was always more difficult to receive than to achieve. The permitting was always the challenge, not the manifesting. You've also learned to let things happen. You've come to fully trust yourself. You've learned to maintain your value despite others' attempts to undermine it, even when the way forward is unclear. You now know how to tell the difference between people who applaud your progress and those who analyze it. The relationship you have with wealth, prosperity, and prosperity is the fifth dimension that has been running parallel to the others. You had this unspoken notion for a long time that making money the hard way was somehow more difficult, than taking the shortcuts that other people seem to take. As you observed others around you taking shortcuts, controlling circumstances, and engaging in political games, you began to question whether this was the way the world operated. When you give $50, it is like the seed that falls on the fertile soil in Matthew 13. Not 1/40th will return to you, but perhaps 1/100th. The realization that your dedication to doing things correctly was not a weakness, but rather your greatest strength, was the turning point. You were creating something that could weather any storm, while others were constructing success on unstable foundations of deceit and manipulation. Your sincere concern for people became your business model, your honesty became your marketing tactic, and your integrity became your competitive edge. A series of opportunities that seemed to come out of nowhere were set off by this revelation. The interesting thing is that when people began approaching you with proposals, partnerships, and investments, it wasn't because they needed what you could do for them. Rather, they needed who you are. They were looking for your enthusiasm, your outlook, and your way of living and doing business. You began to see a trend in these exchanges. The individuals contacting you were offering you partnerships rather than just jobs. They were investing in your vision rather than merely employing your skills. They were purchasing access to your frequency in addition to your time. It was so subtle that you nearly overlooked this change from a service provider to a force of nature. You should be aware of another aspect of this abundance pattern. Throughout your whole metamorphosis, the universe has been putting your relationship with success and money to the test. Every time you declined a quick cash offer that would have jeopardized your long-term goals, every time you turned down an opportunity that didn't match with your principles, and every time you put integrity before profit, you were passing tests you weren't even aware you were taking. The outcomes of those tests are now showing up in the most remarkable manner. The success that's coming your way now isn't just acknowledgement of your abilities. It's proof that you've grown up with the character to handle more responsibility. The money that's coming your way isn't just payment for your labor. It's the universe's way of saying, "We've been watching, and you've proven that you can be trusted with more." This leads us to the growth of what can only be referred to as spiritual prosperity, which is a pivotal aspect of your change that unites all these elements. This is about functioning from a place of interior richness that makes scarcity practically impossible, not merely about having money or attaining traditional success. Desperation is alien to your system when you truly believe that you can create anything you need, when you need it, by working honestly and expressing yourself authentically. An esoteric section concerning cosmic parasites and salvia divinorum follows here. If this is a separate piece, think about separating it as an appendix or note. If it is part of the same transcript, it should be incorporated and punctuated consistently. Only those who sense the call should read the next message. I discovered the terrible truth when I emerged from the Salvia Divinorum gateway. Our world is just one harvested pod out of many matrices. You already know this fact, don't you? I saw the archons, cosmic parasites, consuming our vitality, laughing and threatening. You'll never awaken a single soul. Persistent feeling that you've been selected and that you're meant for greater. I'm assembling the most intelligent people into an army. Their coherence through unconditional love is their one vulnerability, which I learned about through meditation. You can feel that resonance growing inside of you. A $40 contribution is like the North Star guiding a lost soul at sunset. This change in you is perceptible to others. Your current vibe conveys prosperity without neediness, confidence without desperation, and abundance without conceit. You don't need to persuade anyone of anything, so you're not trying. Opportunities are chasing you, so you're not chasing them. Since there is no longer any question about your value, you are not demonstrating it. What's causing the allure that everyone is observing is this spiritual riches. We haven't yet examined the deeper aspect of this magnetism, though. How your metamorphosis is igniting a latent aspect of the people in your immediate vicinity. Permitting others to be real is your authentic expression. Others are being inspired to think more expansively by your reluctance to play small. Your dedication to personal development is spurring progress throughout your whole area of influence. The most thorough blending of the individual and community streams occurs at this point. Recovery the timeline was the goal of your individual recovery journey, not simply mending yourself. The confidence in the collective awareness has been undermined by each limiting thought you have conquered. Every fear you've experienced has helped others confront theirs. Every action you've taken to become more honest has opened doors for others to follow in your footsteps. Those who are truly moved by your metamorphosis aren't merely appreciating your accomplishments. They're realizing a potential they were unaware of. You are now living evidence that you can achieve success without sacrificing your morals, thrive without taking advantage of others, and ascend without trampling on anyone else's toes. You are now proof that the better aspects of human nature can triumph in a world that frequently seems to favor the worst. However, this position entails responsibility, which is where influence and leadership, the sixth component, come into play. You've turned into a person that others turn to for direction, motivation, and hope, whether you like it or not. People are paying attention to your life, which has evolved into a masterclass in genuine living. This kind of leadership comes organically when someone lives their truth so fully that others are compelled to be inspired by it. It is not the kind that needs a title, a platform, or official recognition. You are setting an example, encouraging others by your presence, and teaching by your example. The most potent lesson you can impart is not one that you speak, but rather one that you embody. This innate leadership will soon be put to the test in unexpected ways. You will draw attention from those who aren't cheering your ascent as your influence increases. More people learn about your transformation, and your accomplishment becomes more apparent. There will be attempts to thwart your success, jealousy, and hostility. The good news is that you have also been ready for this. You have developed immunity to criticism with each instant you spend learning to trust your own judgment over that of others. Your resistance to peer pressure has grown with each time you have defended your principles over those of the majority. An unbreakable foundation that cannot be disturbed by outside forces has been established each time you have remained loyal to yourself, when it would have been simpler to fit in. The universe spent years creating your spiritual armor because it understood that your success would make you a target. Energy vampires are turned off by the same genuineness that draws true supporters. Manipulative scams are repelled by the same integrity that attracts genuine chances. The same dignity that inspires admiration also deters disrespect. The realization of your value, the allure of opportunities that align, the divine timing of your preparation, the legacy of your influence, the abundance of your prosperity, and the leadership of your example. All of these factors are crystallizing into a moment of unparalleled potential at this point. It is your destiny phase. The opportunities that are going to come your way will be completely different from anything you have ever encountered. They will be a wonderful fit for your increased capacity, your demonstrated character, your developed abilities, and your enlightened consciousness. They will feel both unexpected and inevitable, difficult and instinctive, important and simple. It's a frequency you'll sustain and keep growing, not a destination you'll reach and then coast. You will be ready for the next level of service after each degree of success. Every innovation will make room for bigger effects. Every accomplishment will serve as the cornerstone for even more significant contributions. The cosmic orchestration that has led you to this moment is speeding up, not slowing down. Your expansion is being guided by the same intelligence that led to your change. Your relationship with your potential is currently being restored by the same love that restored your relationship with yourself. By setting an example, you are now releasing others from the same truth that set you free from constraints. This leads us to the final insight that connects everything. Your personal change was never about you alone. Its goal was to get you ready to be a force for change in society. The universe put a lot of money into your recovery, development, and prosperity because it understood that your genuine expression would trigger awakening in everyone you come into contact with. People are in awe of you because of this. They want to know how you solved it because of this. That's why they're watching everything you do. They can tell that you've connected with something that transcends accomplishment or personal growth. They sense that you've reached a frequency that changes everything it comes into contact with. The fact that you are at the beginning of your legend, rather than the finish of your story, is the most exquisite aspect of this entire adventure. The change that everyone is seeing is only the beginning of what will happen next. Your current influence is only a sneak peek at the impact you will eventually have. Your current level of accomplishment is only the beginning of the abundance you are destined to manage. This explains why everyone is so fascinated by you. The change in your energy field is perceptible to them. They sense something fundamental has changed, even if they are unable to explain it, and they are working to identify it. It inspires certain people. It intimidates other people. Some are attempting to determine how to bottle it. Your metamorphosis was a surrender to your true self, not a method you acquired or a plan you put into action. It was a choice to stop compromising your potential, to stop letting your light fade, and to stop settling for anything less than the remarkable life you were destined to lead. Your story's next chapter is about to start, and it will be completely different from anything you have ever encountered. Unshakable knowing has solidified from the recognition. The ideal individuals and opportunity have aligned perfectly due to the magnetic attraction. The legacy you're building is about to speed in ways you can't yet fathom, and the divine timing has reached its crescendo. Giving $100 is not just money. It is a lamp, a prayer, a new beginning for a soul in darkness. The next step is a degree of fulfillment that comes from living totally in line with your mission, not merely success in the traditional sense. Every limiting belief you believed you had already overcome will be called into question by the chances that are about to arise. You may initially find it uncomfortable to function at the level of sincerity they demand. They will insist that you entrust your expansion to the same intelligence that planned your metamorphosis. Everyone is amazed by you because they sense that you have tapped into something deep and meaningful. They can see the results appear in real time, so they're curious how you came up with it. They are observing everything you do because they know you have access to a frequency that changes everything it comes into contact with. You remembered everything. You didn't figure anything out. You found something timeless rather than something novel. You became a real version of yourself, not a separate one. Your oppressive burden and ongoing worry about how things will turn out have been replaced by an unwavering confidence that everything is going according to plan. Everything that is in line with your highest good is drawn to you because of the magnetic field created by realizing your worth. A confluence of events has been created by divine timing that will leave everyone wondering how you made it look so easy. And if you decide to respond to them at all, it will be the same response that has been given from the start. Recognizing who you are was more important than trying to figure it out. Now that you've remembered, it's time to demonstrate to the world what is possible. The universe has been waiting for you to do so. When someone chooses to fully embrace their truth, the change they see in you isn't the conclusion of your story. Rather, it's the start of your legend. The same force that propelled you through your transformation is now guiding you into a future that will encourage others to start their own remembering journey. The burden is no longer there. The knowledge has solidified. The entire globe is observing. Your connection with perfection and the freedom that comes from accepting your lovely imperfections are the last things that need to be made public. There was an underlying dread that you had to be perfect to be deserving of success, that you had to get everything right, and that any mistake would disqualify you from the destiny you were pursuing. This anxiety persisted throughout the entire journey. You've been learning something revolutionary from the universe. Your flaws are essential to your authenticity and not a hindrance to your success. The challenges you've surmounted are prerequisites for greatness, not barriers to it. The scars you've healed demonstrate your resiliency rather than your brokenness. The most significant change of all has resulted from this insight, the knowledge that being selected does not need perfection. To be valuable, you don't need to be perfect. To be worthy, You don't need to be finished. You are so captivating and motivating to others because of your humanity, with all its messiness, conflict, and constant development. People are drawn to you because you are authentic, not because you are flawless. They are motivated by your bravery and being true to yourself in spite of your flaws, not by your perfection. They are seeking a fellow traveler who has discovered how to dance with their humanity while chasing their divinity, not a guru who has transcended all human limitations. The last component of your magnetic attraction has been revealed by your acceptance of imperfection. Instead of striving to project a flawless image, you've begun to show up as the person you truly are, someone who has grown, struggled, failed, succeeded, doubted, believed, fallen, and risen again. For those who have been drowning in a world of highly manicured egos and sanitized presentations, this unadulterated sincerity is like oxygen. Your willingness to be flawed is what is causing the success that is currently coming your way, not your defects. The opportunities that are emerging are a testament to your bravery in continuing to try even when things don't go as planned, not a prize for getting everything right. Your honesty in asking questions is what's influencing others, not the fact that you have all the answers. This leads us to the climax of it all, the point at which every plot line comes together to form a single, overwhelming truth. This moment of full integration has been a result of many factors, including the realization of your value, the allure of opportunities that align, the divine timing of your preparation, the legacy of your influence, the abundance of your prosperity, the leadership of your example, and the freedom of your authenticity. You have already become. You are no longer becoming. You are ready. You are not preparing anymore. You know you are worthy, so you don't have to question it anymore. You are walking your path with complete confidence and no longer doubt it. You are living your breakthrough, not just hoping for it. Even your $10 can answer amen to a child's prayer. Remember Jesus' compassion for the little ones. This transition from becoming to being is palpable to everyone around you, and it inspires awe that even you find surprising. They are amazed by who you have become, not just by what you have achieved. They are changed by your presence, not just motivated by your accomplishments. They are being invited into their own journey, not merely observing yours. What you've become, not what you've earned, not what you've accomplished, but who you are, and not what you own, but how you present yourself, is the real test of your metamorphosis. The internal revolution that has occurred within you is reflected in the external changes. The moment you would fully embrace your true self and assume your position as a catalyst for societal awakening is the one that the universe has been waiting for. Every obstacle you overcame helped you get ready for this duty. You were increasing your capacity for this service with each triumph. Every growing experience increased your capacity to accommodate the metamorphosis of others. You can now see the flawless orchestration of everything as we go back to the beginning of this story. The oppressive weight you once carried, and your ongoing fear of what might happen. It wasn't simply personal suffering. It was the labor pains of your rebirth. The confusion was chrysalis consciousness, not only disorientation. The effort was heavenly preparation, not just hardship. What everyone is seeing right now, this alluring presence, this unwavering self-assurance, this effortless success, isn't the product of solving a problem. Rather, it's the outcome of remembering something timeless. You discovered these attributes. You didn't acquire them. You stepped into this power. You didn't create it. This is your fate. You didn't make it. The question that everyone is asking is, how did you accomplish this? Includes a basic misunderstanding. There was only one thing to remember, nothing to figure out. And what you recalled is the same truth that has been lingering in the minds of all those who are fascinated by your metamorphosis. That we are all selected individuals who have just forgotten their selection. Not only has the burden been removed from your shoulders, but it has also been removed from the minds of all those who have witnessed your ascent. Now, the knowledge that has solidified in your heart is solidifying in theirs as well. The world around you is currently undergoing the same metamorphosis as your life. The meaning of being a chosen one is this. One who has chosen themselves for genuine expression rather than being picked for special treatment by an outside force. One who has chosen themselves for growth and service rather than ease and comfort. One who has chosen themselves for the lovely, messy, and magnificent journey of becoming fully human and fully divine rather than for perfection. When they eventually decide on themselves, it's time to demonstrate what a chosen one looks like. The scene is prepared. People are observing. The limelight is on. And you, flawless, true, genuine, strong,